She's one of those beings that remind me of Ahsoka, a powerful Jedi that lacked screen time in the canon continuity. I would say she got more flashier showings in Legends type of content. No matter canon or Legends, she was a member of the Jedi High Council in the continuity, aka a group of powerful beings in the galaxy that can use the Force and stuff like that are peacekeepers. You know, we in real life only live on one planet, so imagining a government dwelling over or looking over an entire galaxy that has a peacekeeping fighting force like the Jedi to help them fight sounds ridiculous. I mean, just think about all the different species scattered all around this galaxy, right? Shaak Ti is one of the mightiest, right? Comes to using this mysterious cosmic force as the Force. If it's not obvious, she's a swordsman, obviously, just like pretty much other Jedi, using a laser sword known as the lightsaber on top of her telekinetic psionic type of abilities, being able to lift stuff up with your mind type of abilities. Think of it like this. There's technically two universes in Star Wars, one that's technically not canon, one that's technically canon, one that's considered Legends, which is the one when you see Starkiller, who's an epic character that ended up being in Legends. And then you have characters like Cal Kestis, who's also a video game character, but he's actually considered canon in the continuity. There's technically two versions of Shaak Ti, canon and non-canon, but they both have similar histories, with the Legends one having a little bit more. So there's differences and similarities, like the fact we haven't even seen a legit Starkiller in the main universe, but who knows, they might retcon him and make him canon, but make him an Inquisitor or something, who knows. A great example of how these universes are similar is because both these universes had these movies in it, and they're both canon in both of these universes. However, the main difference between them is that these events didn't happen in the Legends, but they happened in a different way. You know, but when it comes to Shaak Ti, how strong are we talking? There's clear writer intent, even if she lacks screen time, about her power, because Vader even respects her might. She was considered one of the greatest of the Order, and cunning, a hero of the Clone Wars. When the whole movie series resides in a galaxy, there's obviously going to be a lot of different species. Shaak Ti, for example, already has abilities of the Force and stuff. Like, I'm talking physical enhanced strength, thanks to being able to enhance her physicals with the Force and stuff, but she also has a special ability that's specifically because of her race. Her genetics over the years and evolution of her species allow her to be able to camouflage to escape predators and stuff. We've seen her on occasions without using her laser sword, overpowering Magna Guards with her raw physicals and skills put together and all that good stuff, right? I mean, technically she can enhance her durability with the Force as well. Even when she doesn't have no lightsaber no more, she can defend herself from lightsaber strikes with just using a Force barrier to protect herself. And then there's legit times where she just gets straight up shot. Of course, she has telekinetic mind trick type of abilities to make Beast fight, in this occasion fighting Starkiller. All I gotta say is don't fight her in her home field advantage when there's beasts that like her in the vicinity, or beasts that she can just control. Self-explanatory, right? Go attack them, she says. I'm going to bring up her fighting Starkiller later on in this fight, but remember, she has the telepathic or psionic type of abilities to technically control an entire land, stated here an entire planet under her command, thanks to the Force and stuff. When it comes to Jedi, it's no surprise she's fast and agile, thanks to, one could say, the Force enhancing her reflexes with precognition. Speed blitzing is a normal thing for her, cutting down and slashing with swordplay. Speed blitzing style. I mean, after all, we have seen Jedi move like a blur in the past. One can say this is her senses along with her fighting skills, while in the middle of multitasking basically. With Magna Guard, she moves out the way. Obviously, she can deflect blaster bolts. Even if it's a ridiculous amount of them, she can react, deflect them back, and move out the way of them with her agility and speed. Close range, long range, it doesn't matter. Her reflexes are crazy. When you mix in the fact she has this kind of speed to be able to move her hands like literally in a blurrish type motion, on top of the raw power she has and her swordsmanship, it makes her even scary in occasions like this where she decides to blitz you, even if she doesn't have her lightsaber. You can't really catch her slipping if we're being honest. Let's get on her defense and raw force output, or blast power, one could say. When it comes to overall power, you know she's up there in the power hierarchy when Vader straight up says this:
"You must face a true Jedi Master."
Who?
Master Shaak Ti, one of the last of the Jedi Council. You'll need the full power of the dark side to defeat her.
Yeah, she legit fought Starkiller. Her blast power can do this to General Grievous. All this water that was leaking in, they was able to hold it off for a bit. She's a Jedi High Council member. Of course, droids ain't nothing to her. Blast them off the way. She's very mighty with the Force, to the point she can just spam her Force abilities and hit you with debris like that. If you're a bounty hunter, don't be thinking you can just pull up on her and actually get a W on her. It ain't that easy. Get back. She would use her IQ in battle with her lightsaber while using the Force to use the Force to make the lightsaber cut people up by telekinetically holding the lightsaber and having it move without it being near her. You know you're a beast when you're imprisoned and you can still manipulate your lightsaber. I think we all can agree to get a good idea of how strong she is when it comes to her raw power output, or one could say blast power, is to compare her power to Starkiller's. I mean, she did give him a decently difficult fight. Not just raw force ability, but melee skills too, but in both aspects, force power and melee. She went blow for blow with Starkiller. Even though Starkiller can use force lightning, she was able to block these same attacks. Matter of fact, she's shown to be so mighty against Starkiller himself, there was times where I thought she was going to win because she was causing severe damage to him. When Shaak Ti and Starkiller battled it out in the comics, it was narrating how the dark side was strong and she was countering the darkness when Starkiller was approaching. Matter of fact, the way the comic portrays the fight, even though it's just an adaptation, it makes it seem like she actually had the raw power advantage over Starkiller. Her psionic abilities on top of her force abilities was having a planet or creatures fight against him with her fighting him. And there was times where it seemed like she was actually going to get the W, sensing that he's fading. And that's when the battle started turning and he actually overpowered Shaak Ti eventually. But even competing with him this much, her force power has to be crazy. I mean, he is the same being that can manipulate the weight of a Star Destroyer vessel ship. Matter of fact, in the Force Unleashed novel, it's just straight up confirmed that a Star Destroyer weighs at least 1,000,000 tons. It's moments like this when she has force tug of wars with Starkiller to show that she can match his raw force output, knowing that she can stalemate him in force tug of wars, or at least for a little bit she can hang with him. If he can produce 1,000,000 tons of force, then technically she can blast with the force also needed to shake 1,000,000 tons of force, if we're being honest, even though he did win at the end. Her being able to move something that heavy would be like saying, that's like her having enough force power to blast down multiple buildings at the same time. Considering how big these Star Destroyers would be compared to a city or a town, and look how big it is compared to buildings, if it was real, if it was in the real world, based on the size of this thing compared to buildings, she should technically be able to blast apart 15 buildings and stuff. If you think moving a Star Destroyer type feats are BS, this is not the first time. There's like different Jedi ranks and tiers, but what if I told you beings that are not even close to this top tier rank, like a Padawan for example, have enough force output raw power to slow down a Star Destroyer that was about to hit the ground? It's so big compared to her you can't even see her visibly. If Padawan tiers can slow down millions of tons, what the heck do you think a Jedi High Council member like Shaak Ti can do? Even if we haven't seen her do it, we know she can based on the fights with Starkiller, her lore, and her writer intent, and the fact she's above a Padawan when it comes to just literal ranks. Also in the Force Unleashed novel, they pretty much confirm what I just said about the fact they call her a Jedi Master. Another way to get an interpretation or put in perspective of how strong she is, we got to think about the power of the other High Council members to really get a full perspective of her might. Of members like this in the council, who's nowhere near the power of Yoda, by the way, or the two powerhouses like this, there was this idol that this Jedi, for example, this long-necked one, there was this idol that was containing a lot of power. He was going to use the Force to bind this power together, and he succeeded in doing so. This power that this Jedi absorbed, it was something that was considered the destroyer of worlds. If this force energy was released, the result would be an explosion that could tear an entire planet apart. And since the Jedi High Council were all powerhouse force users, some of the best in the galaxy, and this is not even considered the strongest of the strongest, and he could do this, imagine what Earth powerhouse members could do with the force, including, you guessed it, Shaak Ti could technically do something similar to him if she had to. So if we assume the fair assumption that Shaak Ti is above this being when it comes to pure force ability or somewhere similar, that would technically make the Legends versions of Shaak Ti have the raw blast output or force power output to destroy an entire planet if we was to take this seriously. You're probably thinking this is absurd. Well, I would have thought it was absurd too if this wasn't a common theme when it comes to Legends type feats. There's a whole bunch of Starbuster type feats, black hole manipulative type feats, and Legends that I'm not going to get into in this particular video. But planet busting definitely seems something natural for force users to do in this universe. It's not like a one-time thing. There's plenty of feats like this. Her blast power is just crazy though. But at the end of the day, that's just about when I do it. This is just a little small peek at the crazy Legends madness. You know, she's strong, narratively speaking, no matter which universe we're talking about, expanded or just canon. Technically, in both universes, she's still a high regarded High Council member regardless, and is really skilled with a blade, can improvise based on the situation. But what do you guys think? Do you respect her? But before I get going, quick thanks, folks, for the donations. It helps out a lot. Respect Shaak Ti and Legends. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.